completely spaced on showing this, but I got this today for $5. Again, I forgot to film in there, but for $6, I got Iggy's Wrecking Balls. There was a few other N64 games, but they were all $6 each and weren't really worth it. So this was the only one that was worth it. So yeah. Alright everyone, here are my pickups for the month of February. Definitely a very slow month. I didn't get a whole lot of days where I found stuff, but on the days I did find stuff, I got some pretty decent stuff that I'm pretty happy with. And to make up for the lack of finds for this month, I have a OfferUp find that I'll be including at the end of the video. That will be my pickup of the week. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, let's just move on to the pickup. The first find of the month was definitely the biggest. Got a whole bunch of 360 games and a few other, a lot of superhero titles I noticed, and some superhero titles on the 360 can be pretty pricey, so I managed to get some pretty good titles. But first off, we have the lone original Xbox game, Midway Arcade Treasures 3. That is complete and in mint condition. And then we got Baja Edge of Control, the lone PS3 game, also complete. And this is like a $10, $15 game. I paid $4 for all of these, except for the Xbox game, after the 20% off, so managed to get some pretty good deals. First up, we have X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition. Already own this, so this is getting sold. Then we got Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed Bonus Edition. That was complete as well. Then we got quite a few Spider-Man titles. A few Spider-Man titles can be worth quite a bit of money, as you can see. Pretty much all of these are actually solid finds. First up, we have Spider-Man Friend or Foe. This is like a $15 game right here, and that is complete. And then we got Spider-Man 3. That is missing the manual, but still like a $10 game. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which it seems like it's missing the manual. However, the game actually did not come with a manual, so it's about as complete as it can get. Worth more on the Xbox One and PS4, but on the 360 and PS3, it's only like a $15 game. And then the best Spider-Man game for sure is Spider-Man Web of Shadows, probably the best game out of the whole bunch. It's like a $20, $25 game, and it is complete and in pretty good shape. I don't know if it came with the art concept book, but if it did, that's not in there, so. Alright, moving on, we got Thor, God of Thunder. That one was also complete. And then MLB 2K13, as you guys know, this is like a $15 game right here, so definitely a solid little find right here. And then we got Sonic 06, which is also like a $15 game. Already own this, so that's getting sold. And then we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. That is complete. And then Captain America Super Soldier, which is like a $20 game. It's pretty surprising how many of these 360 superhero games are worth a little bit of money, so if you find that at your local Goodwill or game store for cheap, definitely recommend it, because there's some solid games. Anyways, the next couple of weeks after that were slim pickings for sure. I was working a lot of mornings during the month, and so the days that I did manage to go when he stocked, usually didn't find anything. But usually I'd arrive like an hour or two later after he stocked, and there'd be some decent finds here and there. Like we got Atari Greatest Hits, that's loose, paid $5 for that. Iggy's Wrecking Balls. Now this is unfortunately, in really rough shape, but for $6, it's a pretty uncommon game, so I was happy about that. However, I learned on that day that unfortunately, this Goodwill is starting to get more keen with their retro stuff. I asked my buddy, after I got home, the guy who restocks books, I was like, hey, were there any other games that I may have missed? And he said, yeah, but they were all pretty much going to the online store. He mentioned Star Fox 64 and Wario Land on the Game Boy, oddly enough. So I guess it's about this time where this Goodwill is going to start putting all of their Marios and their Zeldas and stuff like that online, which, I mean, it's a long time coming, to be honest. I've been shocked that they haven't gone online for as long as possible, but, you know, they still leave behind some pretty good stuff, like Iggy, and then, like, all those other games, and, you know, so it's not going to be the end of the world. I just won't be able to find, like, any, you know, Mario games that I aim for, which is unfortunate, but, like I said, it was probably bound to happen. And up next, we have an original Xbox game, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. That is unfortunately missing the manual. And then a game that I was shocked to learn was like a $20 game, Rock Band 3, which is complete and pretty mint shape, so not bad right there for only $5. And then the final Goodwill find of the month was actually pretty solid as well. A lot of PS4 games for $7 each, mostly crap like sports games, Elder Scrolls Online, Battlefield, stuff like that. But I did get one PS4 game, Mortal Kombat X. Not really worth more than like what I paid for, but you know, it's one I've been wanting for a while, and I think GameStop has it as at like $12.99 or something like that. So pretty solid for only $7, and I got 20% off of it too. So. And then a PS3 game, we got The Godfather 2. That is complete. And then a Wii game, Battle of Giants Dinosaur Strike. This is like a $15 game right here. So pretty cool to have that. And it's kind of like Pokemon in the sense that you kind of like evolve your dinosaur and fight them against one another. And speaking of Pokemon, I actually, on that day, there was both Pokepark games. Pokepark 1 and 2. If you guys don't know, those are pretty uncommon games. But I already had them, and I was going to buy them just to resell, but a collector friend of mine came in, and, you know, after everything was said and done, I pretty much was just like, do you want them? They're really fun games. And so hopefully, you know, he didn't already have them, and hopefully he doesn't go home and sell them, because that would kind of be, you know, that would blow, but, you know, hopefully he'll enjoy it. Speaking of resale games, we actually have quite a few Wii U sports games that are actually worth a decent amount of money. Starting off with FIFA Soccer 13. This is complete, and it's like a $15, $20 game, so pretty cool right there for less than $7. And then definitely, you know, an expensive game, NBA 2K13. This is like a $15, $20 game on the system. So actually, no, more like a $25, $30 game. So really cool game to find, and of course sell. But the best game for sure, in my opinion, was Tank Tank Tank. I always see this game at GameStop, and I never have picked it up, even though I've constantly been intrigued by it. I've constantly like debated picking it up, but definitely happy to get it for less than $7. You know, pretty solid find right there. But that is it for the month of Goodwill finds. However, we have the OfferUp find. Basically what happens is this guy posts a listing for a whole bunch of like random game crap, like PC game guides, cords, stuff like that. But he also had some manuals for some PlayStation 1 games, notably Wild Arms and a couple of Final Fantasy games. So I asked him, I was like, hey, do you have the games for those manuals? And he said no. However, I have a whole bunch of Genesis stuff. So he sent me pictures, we messaged back and forth, and eventually we settled on $120, which is usually a little more than what I go for. However, he was super cool. He threw in a whole bunch of extras, including he was willing to drive out 20 minutes out, because I was in northern Arizona at the time, so I was quite a ways away from both our houses. So he was willing to make the drive out there, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with the systems. First up, we have a Model 1 Genesis, and then a Model 2 Genesis. Now you can see, unfortunately, it was not owned by the brightest kid, and he or she Sharpied all over the system. Don't think it really has too much effect on the value, since it does still work, but it's really annoying when people do that. The only thing that was missing with both of those was one power cord for the Model 1, and I actually had to spare one of those, so that was pretty nice. And then one of the extras included was this PlayStation 1 system, one of the old original ones. No game inside, but it did come with the manual and all the cords. Not the manual, sorry, the memory card and all the cords. And then quite a few controllers came with, let me bring them all up real quick. We got three buttons Genesis controllers, We have a Mega Fire, which I don't know is like third party or not. It looks like it might be first party, and if that's the case, that's pretty legit. And then we have a Super Pad, which I know for a fact is third party. A Quick Shot, which I actually already had one of these. And then my first ever 6-button Genesis controller, so really excited to get that. Very happy with that. And then one PS1 controller that was honestly really cool. This like see-through clear PS1 controller. It looks kind of yellow, which, you know, in hindsight it is pretty yellow, but it's still pretty cool, honestly. So definitely a nice little addition right there. Quite a few controllers. Now for the games, we have a lone NES game, Anticipation, one that I just didn't own. Some PS1 games, Need for Speed V-Rally, and then Battle Arena to Shinden, and Battle Arena to Shinden 2, both in the Longs box, and both complete with the manuals, which I thought was pretty cool. So now for the Genesis games, quite a few loose games. A lot of this stuff was dirty as hell. I really had to get in there and clean it, but excuse me. Let's start off with the loose ones first. We got Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 2, and Sonic 1, not for resale. Jurassic Park. What is this? Green Dog the Beach Surfer, dude. Never heard of that. Quackshot starring Donald Duck. Mortal Kombat 2, and then the best of the loose games, Toe Jam and Earl. It's like a $30 game right here. The value might decrease, though, because I know the Switch game is coming. The Switch remake is coming pretty soon, so... Now for the box games. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the boxes were in really rough shape. They looked like they'd been torn up by a dog. A lot of the manuals were missing pages, or they were just really dusty and gross, but, you know, still got some pretty solid titles, including one in just a generic Genesis case. It looks like that the box art was ripped out, but Genghis Khan 2, now you can see that the manual is just in horrendous shape. The inside pages are pretty good, but it does work, so... And then we got Zero Tolerance. That was complete. And then Star Trek The Next Generation. That was complete. Battletech, which was missing the manual. You can see, oh my god, the brightness on this. Jesus Christ. You can see that the box was broken open. And then definitely my favorite find, General Chaos. This is one I've been wanting for a while. Here, this is a really fun strategy / adventure game, so pretty happy to pick that up. Unfortunately, it is in an EA case, and those never seem to get the games in the case. But that's like a $30 game, even missing the manual, so... and then I also picked up the pickup of the month. Now, no footage or anything like that, so no dramatic reveal, but it is in a generic case, so it's kind of dramatic. We open it up, and it is Dune for the Sega Genesis. This is a pretty expensive game. This goes for like anywhere between $40 to $50 complete and in good shape. Unfortunately, the manual, you can see, is pretty torn, and there was no box art, which blows, but honestly, it's not a big deal. I probably will still manage to get like $35 out of this. I am selling it because it's a game that I'm not really interested in, and it's not really in good shape, just so I could get a little bit of my money back. I'll also be selling the Toe Jam and Earl and the Genghis Khan, and I'll probably bundle all the loose games with the Genesis systems and bundle some of the PS1 games and some of my extras, and hopefully should make about $30 to $40 plus shipping on eBay, so that right there should get my money back, and then a little bit on top with the games sold. So definitely a really good find right there. He told me that he was a collector and that he just buys and sells for cheap, which I thought was pretty rad. You know, most of the time, if you're a collector, like me, I'll be honest, I do that where, you know, if I'm on eBay, I pretty much just sell on eBay, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, I guess he just didn't really want to go through the hassle of putting it all online. So, really, really cool find right there. So, yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully next month we'll be a little better at this Goodwill, and maybe I'll get some OfferUp finds too. So, thank you much for watching, and take care. Peace.